This episode is brought to you by DistroKid.
It's that time of year again. Everyone knows that the holidays can become overwhelming quickly, so the sooner that you get things done, the better. For both shoppers and businesses, the best time to score great deals during the holidays is Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend. And that's why you need Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Allbirds and Cowboy e-bikes to entrepreneurs who will be participating in their very first Black Friday or Cyber Monday this year. Shopify has everything you need to succeed from start to finish. First, Shopify's marketing tools help push your brand to the forefront of the chaos, no matter what platform your customers are on. Then, Shopify helps draw customers in with the ease of a convenient checkout with Shop Pay, Shopify's expedited checkout that saves customers information and reduces hassle. The best part? Shop Pay has been proven to boost conversions, meaning you see less abandoned carts and more profits. You can also stress less knowing that Shopify's award-winning customer support team is on standby 24/7 to help with any issues that arise, allowing you to get back to business as fast as possible. This Black Friday, join thousands of new entrepreneurs hearing for the first time with Shopify. Sign up for your free trial today at shopify.com/income. That's shopify.com/income. Go to shopify.com/income and make this Black Friday one to remember.
Hey everyone, today's guest is Austen Gray, guitarist and vocalist for the New Jersey ska-punk band Joker's Republic. Together we break down the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the fan-favorite single, Gin and Tonic, taken from their 2024 album, Necessary Evil. Joker's Republic are killing it right now. They have a brand new album and have been getting on the bill for some really great shows and festivals. And it all goes back to the songs. Less Than Jake's very own Roger Lima produced Gin and Tonic, and the results are glorious. The song is super catchy, and it better be, as it clocks in at just over 4 minutes. I asked Austen if there was any talk of editing the song down a bit time-wise, and he gave me a resounding no. Out of all the tracks the band brought to record with Roger, they all went through an evolution, except for Gin and Tonic. Lyrically, Austen said everything he needed to say, and musically, he felt that every part had its place. I agree. So for all this and so much more, don't touch that dial.
Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast.
Austen, have you ever had a Gin and Tonic?
I have, but a lot of my more snobby friends will tell me I've had bad ones.
Oh, really? Okay, so I'm going into my 6th decade as a Homo sapien here on Earth. I'll let you figure out how old that is. But I've never had a gin and tonic. Now, my dad was a gin drinker. I took a sip of gin maybe 25 years ago, a sip out of his drink, and I about fell over. It was like what I'd imagine rubbing alcohol and turpentine mixed together would taste like. It just was like, I'm not drinking this. I'm not particularly into carbonated water, tonic water. So how about you?
Honestly, I'm not really that much of a drinker to begin with. I mean, I obviously had that phase when you first turn 21 and you have your fun, right? But for me, it's never really been part of my life, but I recognize the power it has as a metaphor for a lot of people in songwriting and stuff like that. So I remember when I was first writing Gin and Tonic, years after the real story, because songwriting is very therapeutic for me and something that I do to help me express feelings and like get stuff out. And I finally found the words to talk about this story. And I just remember thinking, what kind of goes together in a way that is aesthetically pleasing, but maybe not necessarily the most healthy for you. My first immediate thought was Gin and Tonic.
Well, I love that. We Les and Jake recently played Ska Brewing, a festival out in Durango, Colorado, and the Pie Tasters were on the bill. And I had to go to Roger's room for something. He had texted me his room number, and my eyes are so bad these days. I thought it said 315, but it was 316. So I went to the wrong door, and Steve Jackson answered. I didn't know it was Steve's room. I woke him up. This is like 9:30 in the morning. And the first thing he says to me, he goes, "Oh, hey man," he goes, "You want a gin and tonic?"
Amazing.
So, and I think Steve was serious, but you haven't missed much with gin and tonic. I'm not really into gin either, but you're right in terms of metaphors and songs. Something about, I don't know, talking about drinking sometimes just works.
It's just relatable. Everybody has an experience for the most part, unless you've always been edge or always been sober for your entire life. Like, yeah. And even if you have, like, you've seen people who've had one too many. You've seen people who have fallen under the power that alcohol can have. And it's everybody gets it right away. There's no explanation needed.
Absolutely. And now this was on your second record, correct? Necessary Evil?
Second full length, yes.
Second full length record, okay. And the record, that one, and your new album that is going to be coming out soon, which we're going to talk about that later. But both were produced by Less Than Jake's very own Roger Lima.
Yes. Working with Roger, and I'm not trying to suck up or anything like that, but this is genuinely how I feel about it. Working with Roger has generally been very eye-opening in terms of how I approach music, in terms of how I think about songwriting, in terms of how I arrange stuff, and I genuinely could not have asked for a better producer. Never mind the fact that I've been listening to Less Than Jake for years. Like, I have a Evo Kid tattoo for the reason I got into ska, which is partly you guys.
Well, and I mean, you're from one of the hotbeds. I've always said New Jersey. I mean, Less Than Jake cut a career out of starting out, our first couple tours in New Jersey was great. I know my listeners have heard me talk about all the basement shows and VFW halls and Moose Lodges you played back in the day, and the scene was just absolutely fantastic. The record was also mixed, this track in particular, Gin and Tonic, by Eric Taft. And man, Eric is just carving a name out for himself.
Yeah, that was a Roger suggestion. From the beginning, when we started recording it, Roger was like, Eric should mix this. And we're like, okay, what's that going to cost? He goes, don't worry about it. Eric should mix this. But the results kind of speak for themselves. Eric is amazing and definitely brought out the best in us and the performances that we gave. And we were lucky enough to work with him again on the new record as well. And that's kind of the standard now.
Yeah, and don't take this the wrong way, that any other reason that I'm just asking you the question. You guys don't have horns, and a band like yours from Jersey, typically they would have a horn section. And
just put the Streetlight Manifesto shirt away real quick.
Well, yeah, but you've shied away from that, and you're a three-piece. I think that's really cool. I don't see too many bands. Even the Interrupters, they got Billy playing trombone with them now. Not too many bands are going out there without at least some semblance of horns that are ska punk bands.
And that's fully intentional. If you think about it and go back to the origins of ska, never mind ska punk, just ska. The word ska literally comes from the sound the guitar makes. It's the scat, scat, scat yeah. on the guitar. The only person in Jamaica who disagreed with that, to the best of my knowledge, is Derek Morgan, who said guitar or keys. It's all about that offbeat rhythm. And if you go back to the origins of ska punk, bands like Operation Ivy never had a horn section. So, I also like mozzarella sticks, but I thoroughly think that ska doesn't need horns to be ska. And then also on top of that, people who don't super like ska or super fuck with like ska bands will listen to us and enjoy us because they can wrap their heads around it. It's like, all right, it's three dudes. They all sing. Those three instruments, I can understand what's happening here.
Well, it's funny you should say that. It's easy to get away with a bass and a guitar being a little out of tune with a vocal, and if it's loud in a punk rock club, oh, it's punk rock, it sounds pretty good, it's passable. You stick two or three out of tune horns with an out of tune guitar and out of tune bass. Horns are one of the hardest instruments to keep in tune. Not to mention, some of the places we play, they're 110 degrees. Other places we play, it's, you play an outdoor festival, it's 40 degrees outside. So the tuning's all over the place. And, in this instance, I think it would kind of muck up your sound. I like what you have going here as a three-piece.
Thank you. Genuinely, that means a lot because there's a lot of people on TikTok who don't get it. But for real, it's very calculated. Everything is rooted in Green Day, is rooted in, I guess, pop punk. I was never really a pop punk kid until recently, despite the hair. But it's rooted in third wave ska and stuff like that, where it's more about the vibe of the song and it's more about the arrangement than it is about having just, massive walls of sound, in my opinion.
And this track, you guys made a video for it. And what was it about this song that stood out from the rest of the pack and you wanted to lead with this as a video and as a single?
So a little bit inside baseball. When you asked for the best song, this is, in my opinion, the best thing I've ever written. And I could be biased on that, but I don't think I've written anything better than this song yet. But the reason why I picked it for the podcast specifically, it's the first one where we would come out and we don't have to introduce it. Be like, hey guys, this song is called Gin and Tonic. It's really cool. I think we don't have to. Like, the moment I play those first few notes on guitar, everybody gets it. They know it. The first time we played, speaking of New Jersey, Starland Ballroom, they sung it back to us so loud that we could actually hear it. And that stage is loud.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize when you're up there, you can't hear anything besides what's coming out of your monitor and what's coming off the amps on stage.
Yeah.
But it was loud enough that we could hear it. And going back to working with Roger, this was the one I think that had the least amount of notes in terms of like what you should change, what you should rearrange, what you might want to reconsider. This one had no lyrical edits, and for the most part is core to how I wrote it.
Okay.
Versus what final came out.
Well, that kind of makes sense because, for a ska-punk song, and you know what? I just want to preface this. A song length does not make a song. It doesn't matter if the song's 30 seconds or it's 30 minutes. But, typically ska-punk songs, they come in, I don't know, anywhere between 2 and maybe 3 minutes, some shorter than that. But this is 4 minutes and 1 second. So it sounds like this idea was what it was and didn't really get edited down.
Yeah, that was day one, actually day zero when we got to Gainesville, because we went to Moat House to work with Roger. The moment we got into Gainesville, he literally sat us down out on the front porch, pulls out a notebook and glasses and goes, yeah, all the songs are too fucking long. But if you listen to me and do this for all the songs, you guys are going to do something. And I see it. And I want you guys to do that. And we just kind of went, yeah, sure. Okay, let's do it.
Did that bum you out at all? Because, I was probably not the most precious person in the band about my songs, but there were people that the first couple of producers like, you're not telling me how to write my lyrics or how to play my guitar parts. That for a young musician, sometimes that's hard to swallow.
By this point, I'd already had the experience. The first Jokers EP I did with Anthony Esposito, who played bass in the Lynch Mob. He was playing with Jakey Lee at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was weird. Like, just happened to be going in to record guitar parts, and Jakey Lee's just kind of there on the porch.
For those that don't know, Anthony Esposito played in Lynch Mob, which was George Lynch, the amazing guitar player's band. George used to play in Dokken, and Jakey Lee was in Ozzy Osbourne's band. So this is that's kind of crazy. I had no idea you worked with Anthony. How hands-on was he?
Relatively enough to give me the experience of demo-itis and you're not necessarily making your art for just you anymore. You're making it for a mass market. And that's a lesson I took with me up until I was working with Roger. So I kind of expected it. I wasn't bummed out. And if anything, I was stoked that someone I've looked up to for so long was so invested in what we were doing. Mm-hmm. I was relatively excited and a little nervous to perform, but I mean, the results kind of, again, I'm going to say it a lot, but it's just kind of true. The results speak for themselves.
Yeah, and the song for 4 minutes and 1 second, it doesn't feel like it, and that's cool. Gin and Tonic, the intro is 8 bars of a lone distorted guitar riff, which is the main instrumental hook of the song. The guitar is mixed just off to the left. On bar 8, the drums and bass guitar come in, as well as another guitar playing the guitar hook. Now it's off right, and the guitars are now in stereo, and this brings us in to verse 1.
Lived a not so happy couple of kids who thought they fell in love and to that and they tried to commit. That commitment didn't come without a cost, so now we've gotta pay the price. We should have called it when we saw the signs, but we missed the hint and tried to force the plot along. But we should have quit. The tissues that her face were fresh from every night, and the bruises that she gave me, no, they never healed right. When we were good, it was perfect. I never wanted anything more than what we had when things were good. But therein lies the problem. Things were really good between us, and if they were, the time was short.
Once upon a time, there lived a not-so-happy couple of kids who thought they fell in love, and to that end, they tried to commit. That commitment didn't come without a cost. Oh, now we've got to pay the price. We should have called it when we saw the signs, but we missed the hint and tried to force the plot along when we should have quit. The tear streams down her face were fresh from every night, and the bruises that she gave me, no, they never healed right. When we were good, it was perfect. I never wanted anything more than what we had when things were good. But therein lies the problem. Things were rarely good between us, and if they were, the time was short. That's a mouthful. That's a big verse.
See, that's one of the cool things about ska, though, is it's going so fast you don't even think about it. It's just machine gun, machine gun, machine gun. Even in the slower, kind of more dancey stuff, it's percussive almost. When I was writing this, I was definitely thinking about it as like vowel sounds that are going to stick out percussively, thinking about it like I would ska guitar. Because a lot of people don't realize ska guitar is not guitar playing. It's ska guitar playing. You're a percussion player at that point. You're not really playing melodic lines for the most part. You're keeping a groove with the drummer.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it like a ska vocal, some of the faster stuff that I've heard over the years, and trying to slow it down and still make it groovable. But I'm still thinking about vowel sounds. I'm still thinking about like what's going to emphasize, what's going to push. Like that's where my brain was. And I use big words. I have no excuse for that. I'm sorry.
Well, let's go back to Roger on the porch when he threw the old man readers on and got into his notebook and he's looking at you. You said that you had worked with Anthony before as a producer. You kind of knew what you were in for. You didn't want to come in with demo-itis. It sounds like some of the other songs were trimmed and polished, but this one you said no. You stuck to your guns on it. How did Raj feel about that at the end? Was he on board with the final production here?
Yeah, I mean, this is the one that Roger immediately was like, "This is a pretty good one." Like the only thing that I could consciously recall that we changed from what I initially intended with this song to the final product is we made the choruses punk. Because initially the challenge was to make it as ska as possible. Our previous record came out and we got a lot of like reggae rock, punk, not ska. Like I was just like, all right, I'm going to write a song and I'm just going to use as much clean guitar as possible and try to make the ska-ist. Like there's no way anybody could ever say this is not ska. And then we brought it to Modehouse and he's like, what are you doing? Just make it punk. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
Well, and he very easily, I should say, could have said that for instead of having the clean upstroke guitar. That's part of your sound. You want that. Less Than Jake, we've had songs that had upstroke guitar in a verse. I mean, right to the moment we're about to record it, it's like, you know what? Those should be eighth note palm mutes. It's going to make this part and this lyric sit a little bit tougher. Sometimes the lyric or the sentiment of the song lends itself to having the upstroke guitar. And I think it's cool here. I think the dynamic is great. A lot of cool stuff going on in the verse. The first stanza here, drums, bass, and clean upstroke guitar. The bass guitar is sparse here on the first two stanzas of verse 1, but it makes up for it in its space. The bass sounds really big here. And the way that the notes and where they land are great.
Yeah, so I am mostly self-taught. I picked up lessons in the last couple years of my guitar playing journey because I was trying to learn metal and I couldn't do that myself. My bass player has a jazz degree and he definitely uses that for all it's worth. And we get a lot of comments about how like just ridiculous he is. And that's a big part of it is that he knows when to play and not to play because he knows that in a 3-piece, the dynamic can shift very easily with the low end. So when we write, it is definitely a conscious choice of where the bass is coming in and out and what it's doing. I know production-wise, he plays a Fodera 5, so it's got a lot of like really heavy low end on the low B string.
Sure.
So we think about things like that, overtones and harmonics to fill up the sound, which in the studio, we kind of have to change a little bit because we don't have to. Like there is a rhythm guitar on this track that we don't have live. But for the most part, like he knows exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to push the dynamic going in. I actually think in the beginning, the intro, that's not a second guitar doing the part. It's actually doubled with the bass.
Oh,
He's just
okay.
playing it in the guitar register. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Well, we of course hear that later in the song. The bass plays that riff, so that's really cool. The first two stanzas here happen in verse 1, and then the next part. I was going to call a pre-chorus, but it's still the verse. And I changed my mind on that. At first, I thought it was the bass just opens up here.
Yep.
And this part surprised me with Roger being a bass player. Go listen to Less Than Jake records. The bass is all over the place. He's playing 500 miles an hour. There's more notes sometimes you know what to do with, which is part of our sound, and it's great. There's a lot going on here. And it doesn't sound like Roger or Joe Gittleman. This sounds like somebody who's jazz trained. You know, that does not surprise me that you said that. This part is crazy. Did Roger want him to roll that back at all, the intensity, or did he just let him rip?
No, I think this part in particular was pretty much just always the part.
Okay.
There's definitely times where with walking bass lines and stuff like that, he'll just kind of, everything in Jokers is intentional except for the walking lines, where he'll just kind of like do them and figure out what he wants to do on the track. But when he plays them live, they're still improvised a little bit, but they're still in the same kind of like area, if that makes sense.
Well, this whole part, you know, again, the guitar chord progression is still the same as the verses, but the bass, upon first listen, it opened up so much. We get some harmonies in here too, which we're going to talk about in a second. I was like, oh, this is the pre-chorus, but further investigation later in the song, it's not, and we'll get there. But the part I'm calling the third stanza of verse 3, we get harmonies on Anything More, and we get harmonies on Had When Things Were Good. Pretty sparse here. Did those harmonies come from you, or those Roger's suggestions?
I don't remember offhand. I know that we're a very big harmony band. I think about this as verse 1B. So like you have verse 1A has like the regular kind of thing, and then verse 1B is like, it's the same progression, it's just a different vocal melody.
Right.
I don't know if it's different enough to call it like a pre-chorus or anything like that. We definitely do a lot of harmonies. So there are some that we definitely planned ahead of time, and some that Roger's like, this would be cool if you did this. I can't remember offhand if that was a Roger suggestion or an us suggestion, but it could have been either.
Okay. Well, here in this third stanza that, again, kind of feels like a pre-chorus. The vocal melody changes a little bit, but the drums, bass, and clean upstroke guitar are all still here rocking away. But the bass guitar, man, like I said, it's playing its own song here. And one last question about that. Were you worried, or again, it doesn't sound like Roger was, were you worried about that frenetic bass playing taking over the lead vocal?
No, that's because we did the bass kind of towards the end. Roger is unique in the way that he records, where bass is one of the last things to go in. Whereas normally you build like drums, bass, guitar. We were conscious of the vocal melody, and the line was shaped around the vocals. I wasn't worried about it at all, mostly because I trust Billy, but also we knew ahead of time this was going to be a thing.
Gotcha. Right after you say the time was short, we get into chorus 1 right at the minute mark of the song.
Time was short, cause she was sour like gin and a bitter like tonic. We mixed so well, but that don't mean we weren't toxic. You know it was bad when all our friends learned to stay away. She was sour like gin and a bitter like tonic. At least she had the guts to say she didn't want this, and it took some time to see that she was right. There's got to be a better life.
Cause she was sour like gin and I'm bitter like tonic. We mixed so well, but that don't mean we weren't toxic. You know it was bad when all our friends learned to stay away. She was sour like gin and I'm bitter like tonic. At least she had the guts to say she didn't want this. And it took some time to see that she was right. There's got to be a better life. Was this about a love interest? Was this just words you pulled from the air? Or
no, it's everything in Jokers is based on something that I have lived. I don't think it's honest to tell a story that you don't have any experience with, either tangentially or firsthand. And like I said, I had figured out what I finally wanted to say 2 years after the event, and figured out how to conceptualize everything. And as you can hear, like I'm stumbling over words just talking, but I know how to write a song, and I know how to make that something coherent and something that makes sense. And I'm lucky that other people seem to think so too, and that it's something that people gravitate towards. But no, like every song that Jokers has ever put out has a real story behind it to some degree.
That's cool. I have also talked to songwriters, and the reason I asked, some of them will say that, yeah, I just started writing pen to paper. I didn't know what it was about. And I've heard a couple different guests now say that I felt like I was just a vessel that this came through, and And then they'll reflect 3, 4, 5 years later and say, oh, I was writing about myself. I was actually writing about this instance, but I didn't know what I was writing about at the time, you know? So sometimes the psyche of lyricists can be all over the place. Chorus 1, the drums, bass, and stereo guitars are all rocking away here, and we have a tambourine here. You got to have a tambourine sometimes, right?
There's your Roger Lima feature that we absolutely put in the credits just to say that Roger was on the record.
Yeah, he has for those that don't know, Roger has this big production case filled with all kinds of percussion instruments, and he's not afraid of wheeling it out at the end of the session and putting some ear candy on a project. A couple more things in chorus 1. We have some harmonies on Friends, Learn to Stay Away, and There's Got to Be a Better Life. You love harmonies. Roger loves harmonies for sure. Why wasn't there more harmonies in this chorus? I don't think it needs it, but they could be all over the place.
This may be something that Roger walked us back from, because generally speaking, we're harmony overload and we try to do everything 2 or 3 parts as much as we can.
Yeah.
And then see what makes sense in the studio. This might be a spot where Roger's like, you don't need to do everything in harmony. Like, let's make it tasteful.
Well, and I also think that we get a lot of harmony in the extended bridge later in the song that we're going to get to. So I think it was the right decision. Prior to talking to you today, I would have thought that you guys maybe stayed away from that. I would have thought for sure Roger would have wanted more harmonies here in chorus 1, but I was wrong.
The context you're missing there, the opening track that features Buddy, Necessary Evil, starts with a big ass 3-part vocal harmony, like 1 guitar and just 3 vocals, and that's it. And it's like moving parts and stuff like that. At this point in the record being song 2, you would have already had the massive vocal harmony from the first song. It's might be an ear fatigue thing where we're thinking about it a little bit ahead.
That is awesome. You said that. I've never had anybody, and I've thought about that before too. Hey, we can't put this song here. We had the big a cappella part in the first song. We can't do the second track have the same trick.
It wasn't planned like that, but thinking about it, I do think we thought about that consciously of like, okay, well, what's the next thing that's going to happen here? We're coming off of Harmony, the song, basically. So we were definitely a lot more sparse, I think.
Gotcha.
At least that's what I remember. I don't know if that was intentional on everyone else's part, but I do remember being like, oh, well, okay, we can definitely tone it back a little bit here.
Hey, everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Austen Gray after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. You know how every family has one person who always wins Christmas? This year, that's going to be you, thanks to Aura Frames. An Aura Frame is the perfect gift. You can preload it with unlimited photos and videos straight from your phone. So by the time you're giving it to someone, it's already packed with memories. I got one for my mom, and I had already been stocking it with photos of my family, fun pictures from places I visited on tour, and even a few embarrassing childhood photos, because those are always good for a laugh. She opened it up, turned it on, and we sat there just watching the frame instead of the TV. We even added a selfie of us together that very moment. It's crazy, but true. You can add unlimited photos and videos to the frame using the Aura app. Every frame comes in a premium gift box, ready to go. And it connects to Wi-Fi, so you can keep adding new memories all year long. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code DeMakes at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code DeMakes. This exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is the best of the year, so order now before it ends. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Ah, the sounds of an Etsy holiday. Now that's special. Want to hear it again? Get original and affordable gifts from small shops on Etsy. For gifts that say, I get you. Shop Etsy. Tap the banner to shop now.
BJ's Wholesale Club makes holiday hosting so easy, we called in Thanksgiving's original host to talk about it.
Pilgrim here. We could have used BJ's back in the day. Imagine stepping off a boat, then foraging for your first Thanksgiving. It's a whole new world now. BJ's brings Thanksgiving right to your door with free same-day delivery on your first order of $100 or more. We're talking turkey, squash, pies, all at prices so good they'll knock the buckle right off your hat.
For terms, visit bjs.com/Thanksgiving and get the same great savings online as in club.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify, spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Hey everyone, Chris DeMakes here, and I've got some exciting news. Chris DeMakes a Podcast is now on Patreon. Your support is what keeps this show going, allowing us to bring you deep dives into amazing songs from incredible artists every week. When you join our Patreon at chrisdemakes.com, you'll get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus show where producer Chris Fafalius and I talk music history, trivia, tour stories, classic albums, and whatever else comes to mind. Plus, you'll get early ad-free episodes of Chris DeMakes a Podcast, unedited video versions of each episode, and, of course, a brand new episode of The After Party every single week. If our show brings you a little joy, help us keep it going strong for just a couple bucks a month at chrisdemakes.com. Not ready to commit? No problem. You can sign up for a free membership while you decide. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope to see you all at The After Party.
Written 480 million, 250 times before by everyone who's...
And now, back to the show.
We get an 8-bar re-intro right after chorus 1 with that guitar hook. Halfway through is another vocal with no harmony. There's got to be a better life. And after this part, we get right into verse 2.
Be a better life. There's got to be a better life. I always thought of fighting as a normal thing people did, because how else are you supposed to show you're invested? I spent a lot of time surrounded by that environment, so I'm numb to the consequence, I guess. She didn't treat me like a person very far from it. Instead to her, I don't think I was more than possession. How did I go from being super ultra mad and begging her to stick around? What the hell was up with that?
I always thought of fighting as a normal thing people did, because how else are you supposed to show you're invested? I spent a lot of time surrounded by that environment, so I'm numb to the consequences, I guess. She didn't treat me like a person, very far from it. Instead, to her, I don't think I was more than a possession. How did I go from being super ultra mad to begging her to stick around? What the hell was up with that?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely speak to the first part because I don't want to blow anybody up, but I come from a family where we would rather have the fight and get it over with, and then the next day, everything is fine. There's definitely a lot of shouting matches. There's definitely a lot of heated tension and stuff like that, but then it's over, and then the next day, we're just kind of like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, it's nothing. So that's something that I kind of had to come to realize while writing this song is not necessarily something that everybody has that experience with. So I literally do think sometimes I'm kind of not aware of the consequence that having a blow up can have, because just I'm surrounded by the idea that that's normal.
What, someone from Jersey not afraid to have a blow up? That's weird.
With two parents from New York, yeah,
yeah, exactly. Oh, we can hear the accent, Austin. You're not fooling anybody here, but there's some cool stuff in here. I like verse 2 because once you get through verse 2 in the next part, the song, to me at least, really made sense. I'm like, okay, now I know what they're going for here, and I think it's neat. Drums, bass, and we get a strummed, distorted guitar chords off to the right. And was that Roger's Stratocaster?
No, it was the Evertune Les Paul.
Oh, that was the Les Paul doing that. Gosh, it sounds like a clean Strat there. That's interesting. Okay.
So this is a fun story. I brought like 7 guitars to Moathouse not knowing, because we were just like, okay, we're coming from Jersey. It's like 20-something hours. I'm just going to be prepared. I had an Explorer. I had a Flying V. I had a 7-string.
You didn't use any of them?
Didn't use any of them.
Yeah.
Roger goes, here's a Les Paul. I use it for less than Jake. And I'm like, okay, what amp do you want to use? That's actually a funny story too, because what you're hearing is a blend of a Dan Dugan Randall and a Dookie Mod Plexi.
Yep.
And Roger initially wanted to use a TSL. JCM 2000, which is normally what I play, but I really wanted to try the Dookie mod, and the TSL wasn't working at the time. And he's like, dude, it has one sound. It does one thing. He plugs it in. I start playing it. He goes, Dookie mod makes an appearance.
Yeah, that's the amp Rob Cavallo from Green Day's producer sold to Roger, or traded Roger or something. I think that's the
wait. That's the actual. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's
sure. The one.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I think it was used on Dookie. Yeah, I think that was the one, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Well, for the lore of this podcast, we're going to say it's true, and I'm going to probably talk about it in the intro.
I guess Rob Cavallo is going to have to come on the show and prove you wrong.
Exactly. That's the next one. I love what's happening here, though. I love that that guitar's panned off right. We got the bass and the drums just holding things down, but the bass again is sparse here until the last line of the first stanza of verse 2. So I'm numb to the consequence, I guess. There's a cool bass run that really opens up for now what is the second stanza of verse 2, where the bass is going even crazier than the first, what I was thinking at the time was a pre-chorus, but was the third stanza of verse 1. It kind of makes sense to me now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of just inherently trust Billy with his parts. The way that writing, for the most part, up until this new record that we'll talk about later, has worked is I come in with a song that's like 80% finished, and it's mostly ska. Maybe it's got some punk parts. It's got all the lyrics, the arrangement, and then I kind of just let Billy and Pat, the drummer, do their thing and see what happens just from their initial reaction. And I'll hear someone go, okay, that's cool, keep that. Or what if we tried this? Like, it's not about bringing my vision or anyone's vision to life so much as just like, I want to see what happens if I don't tell you what to do first. And then we'll go from there.
No, that's great. And that's also trusting the bandmates you have in your band. That's it's good to be able to lean on them sometimes. The second half of verse 2 also, the clean upstroke guitar comes back along with the drums and the bass, as the bass is going absolutely crazy there on the second half of verse 2. Also here on each of the end lines, on "She didn't treat me like a person very far from it," and then the second line, "Possession," and the third line, "Ultra Mad," there's like this hi-hat sizzle panned off to the left. Is that an overdub?
No, because we did the entire record in 10 days.
Okay.
So we didn't have time to do overdubs and stuff like that. Same thing with the new record too. Like, we gave Roger maybe 11. Like, That's just the amount of time we could get away from New Jersey, what we could afford to stay in Gainesville.
Okay, well, I mean, and not taking being argumentative what you just said. I mean, it was literally 3 hits. I thought maybe Roger did that, in one night when he was sitting there, comping vocals or something. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this part and throw it, because it sounds like it's overdubbed, but it's cool, man. It adds like a cool nuance that only happens those 3 times in verse 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely not taking that personal or anything, but if he did, I don't know that. As far as I know, all of the drum tracks were tracked in 2 or 3 days, and like that's all we had time to do, because I remember him saying specifically, hey, next time maybe give me a little extra time for overdubs.
Awesome.
And we gave him 1 day.
Well, we get into what I'm calling an middle 8. It's 8 bars, and this is 8 bars that sits right in the middle of the song. However, it's not a bridge. I would call this the pre-chorus. It's the only pre-chorus in the song. It's a different melody, different harmonies. It starts out with an oh. There's a nice harmony on that.
I'm not gonna claim that I didn't make mistakes, but I'm not the only one who knew how to make a heartbreak. 'Cause she was sour like gin.
I'm not going to claim that I didn't make mistakes, but I'm not the only one who knew how to make a heart break. We get harmonies on didn't make mistakes, not the only one who knew how to make a heart break. Tambourine is in on this section, and on break we get stereo guitars hitting right there that come back in for chorus 2. This part, you said the song was what it was. What did Roger call this part? Was there any discussion of it and of where it sat in the song?
I don't think by name, like, I don't think he thought about it as a middle 8 or a bridge or anything like that. If he did, he didn't say anything about that. I always thought of it as just like a little tag. Because to me, it's just kind of like, it's a different part. It's different chords, right? So it's not like verse 1A, verse 1B like before. It's just kind of a little addendum to tie it around back to the chorus. And I knew it had to do something different here, because otherwise it's just going to be a lot of just the same over and over again. I thought it made sense to go to the minor, to the D minor, and just kind of, for one little bar, just add a little, but also like little tag or asterisk to that verse.
Okay. Well, after that part, the band stops when those stereo guitars come in right before we launch into chorus 2. It's the same overall instrumentation and lyrics as chorus 1. The harmonies are in the same spot too. Friends learn to stay away. And we get a harmony on the last line. There's got to be a better life. And after life, there's a really cool echo on the word life.
'Cause she was sour like gin and a bitter like tonic. We mixed so well, but that don't mean we weren't toxic. You know it was bad when all our friends learned to stay away. She was sour like gin and a bitter like tonic. At least she had the guts to say she didn't want this, and it took some time to see that she was right. There's got to be a better life.
And now we have a scene change. We're into the bridge, which is 8 bars of stereo guitars ringing out from chorus 2. The bass guitar goes to the main guitar riff with clean guitar strums. This part's really cool.
I have a video somewhere, I can find it, of Roger holding one string while Billy plays this part.
It was ringing out?
No, it was to get an extra note in there because of the way he has to play it. Because you can't one-to-one the bass to the guitar riff. Because when I'm doing it, I have string skips, I have open strings. He doesn't have that doing it in that register.
Right.
So Roger's literally just holding one note for Billy while he's playing it. But you know how it is. Like, you got to do some weird stuff in the studio to make it happen, whether it's taping strings or...
Oh, yeah. I've taped strings. I've taken strings off the guitar and just played with like 2 strings for a certain part because stuff was ringing out, and as Roger calls them, my fingers, my fat sausage fingers, were making noise. So yeah, he beats me up, Austen. I think he goes easier on bands. I've always said that, but he beats me up.
No. Because day one of guitars, I start playing stereos and I'm trying to play, and I throw in extra stuff and harmonics. He's like, just use 2 strings. It's fine. I start trying to use 2 strings, and then he just tapes the guitar and doesn't say anything. Doesn't say anything, just throws tape on the bottom 2 strings. And I'm like, do I suck at guitar? Like, am I that bad that you have to just shut? Okay. And then it was afterwards, he did come, he's like, look, I have to do the same thing. It's fine. Like,
all right.
Don't feel. He did say that, but in the moment, I'm like, oh my God.
He did give you some grief too. Well, in this bridge, after the 8 bars, then the vocals come in and the lyrics happen. Both of these stanzas happen twice. And here's the lyric, if you don't mind letting us know what's up, Austen. 1 drink too many can start blurring all the crossed lines. 1 drink too many can exempt even the worst lies. 1 drink too many can make everything feel oh so fine. But 1 drink too many can destroy. And on destroy, we get a loud guitar, like a 2-noter that happens right there. After the word lies, the kick, snare, and tom comes in. It's a cool beat that happens there. And another guitar is now playing a new counter melody lead along with the bass guitar. That's really cool how the guitar goes higher there.
Yeah, so the bass moves to E flat.
Yeah.
And tries to hold down the low end there, where the guitar carries the main riff over it in B flat. So it makes this nice little, like, they explained it to me in the moment. I do not have a music degree, so I don't remember what it was, but like E flat and B flat work together in that way that I can just carry the riff over and just have it pedal tone.
E flat is B flat's downstairs neighbor.
Yeah. Something like that.
If that makes sense. It's basically the box right underneath the B.
Yeah, it made sense, and I could just carry the riff and keep it going. This way you still have the hook in there, and it all just kind of comes together at one beautiful kind of climax leading in there. Lyrically, intentionally, it was meant to tie back to the metaphor, because I'm saying sour like gin, bitter like tonic, but I'm not really talking about what alcohol does at all. I'm kind of just implying the metaphor. This is kind of driving it home. And I can see why when this song came out, someone told me that when they were 14, they would have thought it was deep, but I felt like it had to be there. Like, you have to, if you're going to use a visual metaphor or you're going to use an idea of something that everyone's going to relate to and not tie it together, you're kind of missing an opportunity there. So the whole point lyrically is just to tie it back to the idea of being under the influence, alcohol, all that stuff, while still keeping the theming of a toxic relationship.
Gotcha. Well, the back half, when these lyrics come in, and again, it's the same lyrics as the top, except for the very last 2 words, which we're going to talk about in a second. But we get harmonies on everything, and then there's this big whoa-oh part in between each one. The stereo guitars go back to the main guitar hook here. Bass guitar and drums are back to a rock beat here for the back half of the bridge here. And we get harmonies on everything, and then these whoa-ohs. I want to ask you, am I hearing Roger and Jenarchy from No More? Is she doing the high harmony in here?
No, that was Billy.
That was Billy. Okay.
That was Billy.
Do you know who Jen is? Sometimes Roger will have her come over and do the super high harmonies on stuff.
Billy hit that big note on Destroy Your Mind. There's actually one extra high harmony in there that's only on the recording. And Roger, he hits it first try, and Roger goes, sounds like my friend Jen.
Yeah, okay. So that makes sense to you that I would have picked up on that.
Yeah. I didn't know Jenarchy, but I did hear. Sounds like my friend Jen hit that note when Billy did that. Yeah,
old Jen Vito. They call her Jenarchy. She's a dear friend. We've known her forever, and she can sing notes that only canines can hear. It's up there. And again, in the bridge here, all the lyrics are the same except the very first stanza. You say, "But 1 drink too many can destroy," and you kind of leave it alone. But at the end here, can destroy your mind. You finish out the thought there. And then we get into chorus 3. And, I was thinking about this chorus. There's so much information and so many lyrics here. You haven't changed any of the lyrics up in chorus 2 or chorus 3. Sometimes you'll do that. I don't think you can here. There's a lot of information and you don't need it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been referring to it, and this could be very ego, but I refer to twisting like that at the end as a Joker twist because we do it a lot, where the last chorus will have like 1 or 2 different lines or one word different that changes the whole meaning. With this one, I felt no need. Like, it's the anthem, it's the chorus, it's the part that just makes sense. Like, there's no reason to try to overcomplicate it if it's good, and it drives everything home. Like, there's nothing I can add to this that's going to make it better than what it already is.
She was sour like gin and a bit of like tonic. We mixed so well, but that don't mean we weren't toxic. You know it was bad when all our friends learned to stay away. She was sour like gin and a bit of like tonic. At least she had the guts to say she didn't want this. And it took some time to see that she was right. There's got to be a better life.
Same harmony placement. Friends learn to stay away, and then there's got to be a better life. But on the second, she was sour like gin and I'm bitter like tonic. That line is a cappella. Huge harmony out, a huge high harmony. In between, she was sour like gin and I'm bitter like tonic. The whole band does this dun-dun hit together. And then on the last line, there's got to be a better life. We get that harmony into a 16-bar outro. Stereo guitars go back to the main riff, and we get harmonies on There's Got to Be a Better Life. That happens 3 times. On the second to last time that you say There's Got to Be a Better Life, and again, harmonies all over this stuff. There's this like this whole band hiccup there, halfway through.
That's an Anthony Esposito thing. That's on one of the first Joker's Republic songs. They had a similar rhythm, and he described it as like a one-handed flip of a lever action shotgun, like.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to describe it. And then on the last line, there's got to be a better life. Harmonies all over that, and then we get a jing jing, dun 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 dun, and the whole band rings out, and the song comes to a conclusion. All 4 minutes and 1 second of it.
There's got to be a better life. There's got to be a better life. There's got to be a better life.
You said you wouldn't change anything. This song is going on probably since you wrote it 3 years. It's going on a couple years since you recorded it. Typically, I'll go back with songs, not all the time, but there are some songs I'm like, I could have done this or done that. I think it's cool that you like what you put down and you stand by it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would have done differently, and this is a lesson I took with me into the new record, Roger suggested for the main riff to have another guitar go an octave up. And I'm hearing it in my head, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, we're really going for like that Blink-182 kind of like, simplistic, same register. I'm not really sure if this would fit. And he didn't fight me on it, but going back, I'm thinking about how that riff kind of doesn't cut as much as I would like to in the production. I definitely considered that going into the new record, being like, all right, he hears something I don't hear very clearly, so I should probably at least do it and see what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's called growing your mind as an artist. I absolutely love it. Austen, this has been fun. Thanks for taking the time for sitting in with us today. I think you guys are great. Played a show with you recently. The fans are totally digging it. So let everybody out there know what's happening with Joker's Republic.
Yeah, we got a new record that'll be out. It's called The Hand You've Been Dealt, out on Punkerton Records. It is 11 new songs and an interlude produced by Roger. Mixed and mastered by Eric Taft. We're really stoked on it. We definitely think it's our most cohesive work, and you'll hear a couple new surprises on it too if you haven't checked it out yet.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to that, so make sure you check it out, and I'll see you down the road.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris.
When you panic, makes it hard to function. Panic, no, it won't do much good. Running around, feeding into all the lies you tell yourself. Panic, don't panic.
everybody. The song you're hearing is Panic, Panic, Panic from the new Joker's Republic album, The Hand You've Been Dealt. So make sure you check that out. And don't go anywhere. We got lots more Chris DeMakes a Podcast coming right up after a few words from our sponsors.
The Burlington Coat Event is back. Buy a coat now through November 29th and get $5 off your merchandise purchase of $25 or more from December 6th through December 24th. Plus, Burlington is donating 50,000 new coats to help those in need nationwide through our partnership with Delivering Good. We've been keeping you warm for over 50 years. We'll see you at our coat event. Burlington. Deals. Brands. Wow. Visit burlington.com/coats for details.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. From the creator of Homeland, Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys star in the new Netflix series, The Beast in Me, as ruthless rivals whose shared darkness will set them on a collision course with fatal consequences. The Beast in Me is a riveting psychological cat and mouse story about guilt, justice, and doubt. You will not want to miss this. The Beast in Me is now playing only on Netflix.
Wayfair's big sale is returning. Get ready for Way Day. For 4 days only, score up to 80% off all things home with free shipping on everything. From October 26th through 29th, score Wayfair's best deals, like up to 80% off area rugs, up to 60% off mattresses, up to 60% off bedroom furniture, and more exclusive doorbuster deals. So mark your calendar and shop Way Day starting October 26th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Every story you love, every invention that moves you, every idea you wished was yours, all began as nothing. Just a blank page with a blinking cursor, asking a simple question. What do you see? Great ideas start on Mac. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo. There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault, a new series streaming now only on Peacock.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
Hey, I'm Chris Fafalius, producer of Chris DeMakes a Podcast, and also host of One Hit Thunder. Each week on the One Hit Thunder podcast, we take a look into a one-hit wonder band or artist to determine if they deserved more success or if they were lucky to even have a hit at all. We've covered When in Rome, Jaquan, Shanice, Yellow, Squirrel Nut Zippers, Jesus Jones, Positive K, Mazzy Star, and hundreds more. With new episodes every Wednesday and special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we always have nonstop fun, and maybe, if we're lucky, we discover some new favorite music. So if you love great songs and you often find yourself asking, whatever happened to that band? Check out One Hit Thunder wherever you get your podcasts.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Bottom Feeder, a self-described, and I agree, chaotic hardcore band from Calgary, Alberta. Their 6-song debut EP is out now. Here's a snippet of their song, Trauma Cycles.
Dead eyes got rolling from the
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
Chris, I kind of think that gin and tonics taste like pine cones.
I think, well, is that from the gin or is that the tonic? Tonic has this ingredient called quinine.
Uh-huh. Right.
Okay. And is that what gives it that alkaline metal? It tastes like I licked a cold, like outdoor pole in the winter or something. The taste of gin I had that one time, I can taste it right now, like in my mind. To me, it's a repulsive drink.
It tastes to me like I licked a pine tree. Not that I've ever done that before, but what I'd assume it tastes like. But some people like them, man. Some people swear by them.
Yeah, no. When we were out in Durango that night, like I said, I had accidentally knocked on Steve from the Pie Taster's door, but that night of the show, he was pounding them like it was his job.
Maybe you should change the name of his band to the Pine Tasters.
The Pine Tasters. I like it. I like it.
There you go. Hey, I also, while you were recording this episode, Chris, I was texting with Eric Taft. I said, hey, they're talking about you right now. That's my good buddy, and I love to hear him talked about. He's an awesome producer and mixer and everything, and probably the sweetest guy ever. So definitely love a good Eric Taft shout out in an episode.
Absolutely. I had met Austen. I probably met him before, but I actually hung out and talked to him recently at the festival we played together, Supernova Ska Festival. Mm-hmm. And they're a great band. There's something going on here. I like in the episode when Roger looked at him and said, you guys got some songs here. I think if we work on them real hard, you guys have a shot of a lot of people knowing who your band is. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too. I also thought it was cool when it came to this particular song that he mentioned that this one, Roger didn't really have a lot of notes for him. It's cool when you know that the song is already kind of there and you don't need to get under the hood too much. Like nothing against getting under the hood on a song, and sometimes that can result in a great thing, but it's nice when you know the song is good going in.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny, that their bass player sang that high harmony, which that's Billy from Joker's Republic sang the high harmony that Roger then said, my gosh, that sounds like my friend Jen. So it makes sense why I thought that. I was certain it was her singing those high harmonies. It's killer.
Yeah, it's very cool. I also noticed in this episode, and Austen said it, and I thought it was really cool when Austen did say it, that you write a song sometimes because you don't know how to talk about a certain thing, and that's the way you can communicate about it. Because you guys, I feel like you tried to open that door a little bit, and Austen was kind of like, well, this is something that happened, and didn't get too specific. But I think that's cool that the song is how you're communicating.
Yeah, and I kind of threw a couple of things back at him. He said some things today I had never really thought about, and he's just like, every one of my songs, it has to be about a personal experience. And I was like, wow, because we've had a guest on the show, artists on the show that have said to the contrary of that, and I explained it to him. So it's just interesting. Everybody's psyche is different. Every human's different, every song. And that's why I still love doing this.
Yeah, for sure. It's also funny that Austen said he brought 7 guitars to Florida, but didn't use any of them because, sometimes when you're a producer with your own studio, you have certain sounds dialed in that you're not going to top. This guitar through this amp with this mic, it sounds amazing. I mean, you could try something else. It's not going to sound as good. And I'm sure that Roger has all those.
Well, and before the band pulled over the Gainesville County line, Roger already had every guitar already stringed up. Yeah. He knows what amps sound great when paired with which guitar. So, he already had an advantage before the band even stepped foot into the recording studio.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, the conversation about the weird things you do in the studio sometimes, whether it's taping strings, removing strings, having 2 people with their hands on the neck of the guitar at the same time. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get that studio magic. Chris, one time when we recorded at Smart Studio with Sean O'Keefe, we were using as percussion, we were just grabbing things in the room and putting scissors together to make percussive sounds and stuff. Sometimes you just you gotta do what you gotta do to make something cool.
I mean, the old Motown dancers would, they would have a group of ladies lined up. They'd put chains on their feet and they would jump down, or they would put bells on their feet and they would jump in time. And that would be a percussion track, which is awesome. And we're going to get to your reviews. We like talking about you listeners, all the listeners out there. We like talking about you on our show, and we'll be glad to do it in a moment. And we thank you for all of those, hopefully 5-star reviews that we're going to get to in a second. But until then, we still have that Patreon over at chrisdemakes.com, where you can get bonus episodes of the After Party. And it's a good deal. You keep the lights on here for Chris and I, and we appreciate all of your support. chrisdemakes.com. Please head over and sign up and tell a friend about it, because we think it's pretty cool. And Chris, what do you got for us this week?
I got a 5-star review from Apple Podcasts today, Chris.
See? 5-star. See, I like that.
We like those 5 stars. We don't want the 4 stars. Even if you think we're only 4 stars, we don't value the honesty. We only value the 5th star around here.
Yeah, it's got to be 5.
We did read a 3-star review one time, but not today. This is a 5-star review. It is from JLam182. Oh, I get it now. It's probably like a Blink 182 reference. It was the number 1, the word 8, ATE, 2. But I don't know why I didn't get that down. JLam182 gave us 5 stars, said, "Don't skip on this." And this is the review. "I've been listening since day 1, and each Monday I get excited for the next episode. Makes me break out of my punk rock comfort zone and really dive into songs I never thought I'd actually like or give a chance being a punk rock only kid. Makes me excited for music all over again. Thanks, Chris and Chris. Rock on."
Well, thank you, JLam182. We will rock on, and we appreciate you listening to us and giving us that 5-star review. And you too can go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave us a review, and maybe we'll read it on the air next week or the week after.
We could do that.
You never know. And want to thank this week's guest, Austen Gray from Joker's Republic, for sitting in with us, and we'll see you next week. If you're a band, artist, record label, or business looking to get your message out to a passionate audience of music lovers, consider advertising on Chris DeMakes a Podcast. We'd love to help you connect with our listeners in a meaningful and authentic way. Just drop a line to my producer, Chris Fafalius, at chrisfafalius@gmail.com. That's Chris, Fafalios @gmail.com. If our listener base sounds like it might be a good fit for you, reach out and we can talk rates and discuss the best way to effectively get your message across.
As a raider scavenging a derelict world, you settle into an underground settlement. But now you must return to the surface, where Arc machines roam. If you're brave enough, who knows what you might find? Arc Raiders, a multiplayer extraction adventure video game. Buy now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Rated T for teen.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.